fear-based models are actually stuck in this kind of idea of everything at a bigger level, and we become overwhelmed. So think about it. When you are overwhelmed with fear, isn't it because you're so stuck on all of the information, all of the details, you're so lost in it that you can't find a positive seed that can expand? You lose sight of that. So it's when we find that small point again, which initially we think is just little, it's just a small idea, that actually we find our greatest power. And this also ties into, I just want to touch on this briefly, a really present mentality in the world and that is circulating around the spiritual arena, and that is the mindset of abundance, that because the world has been experiencing and living in fear and lack and control and dominance, it sparked off this intense urge and desire for abundance and more. So it's a more mindset, and that's feeding into our consumer addiction and wanting more than what we actually need. So really, we need to shift back to the true nature of our self and existence, and that is that it is enough. It is actually a sufficiency mindset. And so this is a shift into what we need rather than what we want. And I'm not suggesting we don't enjoy life. I'm just saying we really need to rejig that mindset, because the things that hold greatest power, greatest creative possibility for the good of all as a collective. So as a collective, the world in its natural balance is abundant, but it is that because each little unit, micro unit in itself is enough. It is sufficient. So if we look at that, then it also means that there's this very important root cause that underlies our ability to take up these principles and actually do something with them. And that root principle is interconnectedness. So this is why I was saying that you and I and all of us who are more spiritually aware in the world and motivated spiritually are critical to this time in the world. Our awareness is tapped into this root principle that everything is connected. Everything is interconnected. Now, look at the mindsets of current leaders and a lot of individuals, the elite power individuals, and you will see that actually their minds do not work that way. They really do not get it. They do not experience, know and feel interconnectedness. So when you talk to a politician or a lobbyist and you say, yeah, but if you dig out those fossil fuels and you do this with it, it's going to have this flow-on impact. They'll be, oh yeah, but nah. No, we're going to look after the jobs. We're going to look after the economy. Why? It's because their minds actually don't work this way. However, the interesting thing is we have an increase incoming new population of souls on the planet that are already wired this way. And to some degree, you know you're wired this way, which is why you're finding it so difficult to live in a disruptive world, in a world where people are so disconnected. And it's really disturbing for you that a large part of your conditioning has taken on that patterning, even though in your heart and soul, you know the truth, that everything is connected. That's why you want to wake up to that again. That's why you want to embody that again. So here's the thing. If we want to really change our world, we have to create a new vision. It's new vision that is going to help us and the greater populace, the greater collective, let go of this clinging to a fear-based realm, a fear-based paradigm, and the clinging is only happening because it's familiar territory. If we create a new vision, a new way of seeing where we are, and that it is an incredible time of opportunity and potential, and that we actually already practically have the technology and the tools we need to create solutions and systems that are going to change our world for the better. If we can tap into this and foster greater love and kindness and teach interconnectedness, we are actually going to spark off an incredible upward spiral. We're going to catalyze an unstoppable creative force. The solutions are already available to us. This is about us knowing ourselves. It is about us stepping beyond the doubts that we've been fed and knowing the truth of the universe, the way the universe works. This is not philosophy. This is science. This is how it works. Now, that means at an individual level, there are ways that we can all contribute to a positive upward spiral of change, and we can actually make the change we want to make in the world. Now, of course, there are still some practical things, so I'm going to speak to some of those practical things first, such as, letting your local MP know that you actually are serious about action. Use your voice. Vote. Now, if you have superannuation or investments and you're involved in that arena trying to, look after your future, really look at ethical activities. Choose everything that is ethical and investing in green future. And really importantly, buy and consume less. Reuse and recycle. Now, that ties into this point I was making about a shift of our mindset from this idea of abundance and we want more and what we want back into sufficiency mindset and enough. Eat less red meat, less dairy. We know that the meat and dairy industry is largely involved in, producing a greenhouse gas impact. So that it certainly is something to watch our diet and how we're consuming, and conserving energy at home. So as much as possible, shifting over to 100% renewable power, install solar panels, etc. I'm doing that here with the centre, ensuring that I'm actually taking every step and measure possible to be completely self-sustainable. Now, the last point I want to make is very, very important, and this helps us deal with the overwhelm that we're feeling so that we can actually tap into the imagination, the hope, and the vision that I was talking of before, so that we actually connect with aspiration and we feed that. And that is getting involved in initiatives at your workplace or in your communities. Research about climate anxiety indicates that doing something and being part of something bigger, like a community project or a movement that is helping where you are most concerned, that it actually reduces anxiety and it, of course, creates positive change. So it builds that aspiration, it expands it. So when we get involved, what happens is we restore our understanding of our connectivity. And it's connectivity and community that begins to strengthen and further foster and nurture kindness. So loving kindness and empathy, and that in turn builds and grows our deeper lived experience of our interconnectedness. And as we deepen and strengthen that, we actually tap into our own authenticity, and guess what happens? We awaken again our own imagination, and we bring our own divine intelligence to the moment, to each other, and to the collective. What we need now is to mobilize this inherent divine intelligence that is existing in the heart and mind of every human on the planet. If we can awaken this and mobilize this, we are going to see an incredible change in this world. And so the truth is, there is great hope for us. We just need to know how to tap into this in the right way.